Hi, Instagram friends. I thought I would take some time and just have a little conversation about creativity. In the Divorce Moms group that we have on Facebook, we're spending 2 months on this topic. So we're spending the rest of the month of August, not too much longer, and September exploring creativity, different sides to it, what it means to us, and why it's important as not only as a human being, but why it's important to tap back into that post-divorce and to promote healing and finding our center and finding our authenticity. So I think a lot of us, when we think about what creativity means, we jump to the more traditional understanding or definition, and we think of somebody that has creative talent more like drawing or painting or writing poetry or writing books. But to me, and if you Google it, there's so much more to creativity that we can tap into. It's truly just a way of thinking, looking at a problem differently, looking at a life situation from a different perspective. It really is just shifting energy and doing something different from what maybe you normally are doing it. So that's creativity, and there's so much research as to why it's important to us as human beings, how it really instigates and influences new ideas. It helps us with our path to happiness and fulfillment and purpose. So again, we followed a practice as adults among so many other things and in so many other ways. But as children, if we look at children and how easily creativity comes to them, how they take a toy and don't play with it with the purpose that it was designed for. They look at new ways to play. They look at arts and crafts and do things much differently. If you are a teacher or if you've ever run some sort of kids club and had a craft in mind and a specific step-by-step set of instructions with an end product, and you sit down with those kids and you realize that if they were just given those pieces and told to put them together or let them go, they would do it much differently. So it's as we grow older and as we become adults, as we're immersed in society a little bit, with the ways of thinking that we're influenced and pushed, that are influencing us and pushed upon us, that's when our creativity dwindles and sometimes dies out completely, because we're not taught to foster it. We're not taught to keep it going. And maybe that's why adults laugh a little bit less and smile a little bit less and are less happy than when you look at a kid who's, 95% of the time they're joyful and just being and playing. So there's an importance in that aspect for people that have gone through divorce or any sort of hardship and turmoil. It's not easy to get back into that practice, but I think it's important at just finding ourselves again and figuring out who we are. And as I've mentioned, coming back to our authenticity and our center. So there are a lot of different ways that we can do that and explore creativity and practice it. And I think we have to be, especially again as adults, willing to do it messy, willing to jump in and try new things and practice, knowing that it's not going to be perfect, knowing that the end result might not be what we were anticipating when we first started. So some of the things that we're exploring in the group are how we can use creativity with nature, whether it's actually using pieces of nature to create art, or whether it's just looking at nature differently and noticing how something in nature is creative, something in nature is striking us differently than when we weren't looking for it, when we weren't noticing, when we weren't taking that time to be present and really just being and experiencing nature the way it was meant to be experienced. We're exploring creativity in the kitchen. We're exploring creativity with movement. We're going to have a conversation in September about creativity and thought process and how creativity can be more of a lifestyle. So would love to hear your thoughts. If you want to comment down below on what creativity means to you, because yes, there are the more traditional creative outlets that our minds jump to when we think of creativity. And I think those are important too. I know that one of the big things that helped me through my healing process and still help me to recenter and figure myself out are trying new creative classes. So for me, I do love the arts and crafts and DIY, and I've taken classes in painting and pottery, woodworking, all of those things. Trying new things is something that really helps you figure out who you are again. And you don't know necessarily whether you're going to like it. Maybe you hate it. Maybe it really does just take practicing it a few times until you get a better handle on something, until you realize, oh, I really like this. This really inspires me to do X, Y, Z. And notice the changes in yourself, notice the changes in the way that you're thinking, notice the changes in how you're feeling emotionally, because I think that is a huge part of it. Creativity, opening up your emotions to feeling things you didn't feel before. So again, I'd love to hear your comments on what creativity means to you. Maybe some new ways of thinking about it that I haven't already mentioned. I'm sure there are plenty. And if you're interested at all in joining us for the creative exploration for the rest of August and into September, send me a message and I'll send you the link to our Facebook group. I believe it's in my bio. There's a link in my bio. It's a free group for divorced moms. And this is the current topic that we're exploring, but into the fall and winter, we'll be exploring a lot more topics. So again, let me know what you think. What are some creative outlets that you love? Would love to hear from you. So comment below. Thanks.